And we're back with another episode of Before You Buy. That show will give you some straight up gameplay and our first impressions of the latest games releasing. As usual, it's me, Jake Baldino, and we're finally talking about Frostpunk 2. This is the follow-up to the original 2018 game, a game I really enjoyed. The first Frostpunk was a brutal city builder with survival elements. So it's like the end of the world, the planet is covered in snow and ice, and you're tasked with keeping this small city warm and safe and thriving amidst this harsh, kind of Snowpiercer-esque winter landscape. It was bleak, it was challenging, and it was awesome. I haven't played another game like it. I didn't know where they were going to go with a sequel when they announced it. I expected more, but I was not prepared for just how different Frostpunk 2 is. Instead of just trying to add on to the concept of the first game, they've significantly shaken it up here. Frostpunk 2 feels way bigger in like every way. If you were expecting more of the same game, you may have to adjust here. But if you were full and satisfied with Frostpunk 1 and you were looking for a new flavor with like a new game here, I think Frostpunk 2 is excellent so far. Instead of just doing the same thing again, they took some of the best ideas and did something else. And I love that. And yes, it is still a very challenging game. And just so you know, of course, I've been playing a review copy, and this footage is captured running on PC, and it's spoiler-free. So, essentially, the developers at 11-Bit Studios here, they leaned into strategy and part of the 4X subgenre. In a lot of ways, this is Frostpunk, but with more civilization mixed in. I'm being a little reductive, but it's the best way to describe it. The scope is bigger. You're exploring way more of the outer Frostlands and establishing satellite outposts and sister cities. To start, what's available, there's a story mode and a kind of free utopia mode where you pick an environment, change the settings and difficulty and parameters, and start from scratch. But story mode acts as a challenging and kind of story-paced playthrough that introduces you to all the game's mechanics over the course of an adventure. You're definitely going to want to play this so you can learn the ropes. This also has difficulty modes as well. And although like this campaign is actually story light, it's paced through a handful of chapters where you're focusing on different challenges, securing fuel, surviving a massive incoming whiteout storm, establishing colonies, stuff like that. Interestingly enough, right from after the prologue, you're smacked in the face with how different this game is compared to the first one. You inherit a small city, one that's already had a little bit of technological advancements already. You're in charge now, and you chart a course for the future. You need to establish districts for housing and build a research building and a council building for civic stuff and for tech advancements. Then you need to use the workforce to break through the ice. The game is now tile-based, so you're clearing ice to free up these tiles to then establish districts and build upon them and facilities and stuff. So place food production districts near food tiles, production near resource tiles, and watch your city slowly kind of spread its tendrils out to the surrounding lands, with skyways and roads and pipes and rails slowly peppering the landscape, filled with workers going about, machines, and stuff like that. So no longer are you huddled in a circular building like around a city. You could spread out a bit here and build around natural formations. You can tuck buildings in crevices for bonuses thanks to protection from the wind, and it's really awesome and satisfying to watch your city grow here. It does lose a bit of the kind of cold maintenance elements from the previous game. You know, you're not staring at a temperature map overlay and micromanaging as much. You're still turning on your generator, you're worrying about overdrive when it gets really cold, and some building placement, but it's really all about the resource game here and consistently establishing more production and growth. Too much mismanagement can cause disease, taking shortcuts on food can make people sick or unhappy, too many production facilities near homes can cause issues. Like the original game, every decision, like every placement, everything has a reaction and something you inevitably need to deal with. You can't keep everything perfect and running like a well-oiled machine here. Shit happens. Weather gets worse, people rebel, you name it. and you have to manage it all with careful and measured decision making and balancing a ton of resources. Like, there's a lot of different things to keep track of here. Multiple fuel sources, commodities, goods, materials, food, a currency, it's a lot. This careful, measured decision making, though, is heightened drastically here, and it's where they really doubled down. Decision making is near constant, and it's pretty brilliant how smoothly it's integrated into all the systems. There's a full-on faction system here. So the city is populated by various groups with their own thoughts, beliefs, and wants. You can read into them, you can click on them. Some are louder than others. Some only make up a small little part of the population. There's a lot of variance and things to consider as they come to you and ask you for things. They all have affinity levels, and there's actually an overall tension level for the city that you need to keep at a reasonable level. If you don't, it falls into chaos and everything can really start to fall apart. I mean, really, anything that you kind of screw up on can make things fall apart. Not having enough resources, my districts kind of started to fall apart sometimes. People were getting mugged in the streets constantly because they had no goods, and factions get pissed. So you can help these factions, you can bribe them, but there's also this council system. So the politics in this game are really well done. The council meets every so often to vote on rules for the city, from how you grow food to survive, to what types of work shifts you give people, to how you handle viral outbreaks or how you handle civil unrest. And all of this needs to be put to a vote with the representatives of all these factions. You're able to click on these faction leaders and faction members to see their wants, their hopes, their stuff like that. And if you want something to pass, you better hope you've been doing the right thing to have enough votes on your side. If there aren't, you can just roll the dice or negotiate and make promises to different groups. So get them to vote for your proposed law by promising to give them something later on. Don't fulfill your promise and then they can turn on you. It can be a little unpredictable sometimes, especially in the late game, and that can be a lot of fun. Every vote, every rule, one faction feels one way, so one faction feels another way, so it always gets chaotic. A faction I thought I was super cool with for a really long play session only somehow managed to get super entitled and demanding towards the end of the game and just demanded way too much for me to handle, leading to them having riots and destroying key things in my main city. So it is all a really stressful system, but it's so cool. The council system adds a new level, where in the first Frostpunk, you realize how much it sucks to be a leader, how much it sucks to be a mayor of a city. In Frostpunk 2, you realize how much it sucks to be like a president or a prime minister. The research tree also interacts with these systems. So the research trees are like skill trees for technology and policy ideas, and each idea has different ways of going about it, with factions having their own approaches and ideologies. So one group might want to get out there and explore the wasteland and spend resources on that. Another group might want to focus on keeping homes safe and efficient. Some factions will think that the baby nurseries need to have added heat. You need to spend more heat on heating the, baby hospitals. But then other factions believe in survivalism and think those babies need to grow up experiencing how cold the world truly is. Everybody has different solutions to problems, and the research trees here really reflect that. This is also where some of your council negotiating comes in. Some favors to get those votes involve you prioritizing some research over researching another thing, which just adds another whole layer of complexity. The game has a lot going on, if you can't tell. You might need some resources, so you explore the large overworld map and find an abandoned outpost or an old mine and set up some supply lines. Maybe you need more than that, like a new fuel source, like oil, so you have to establish an entire sub-city. Then, after that, yes, you are juggling multiple cities at the same time with their own resource needs and even unique threats to each of them. This is where the difficulty really set in for me and where it slaps you in the face. I found it very, very challenging dealing with multiple cities when I got to wrangling 3 of them. When external threats are introduced, it can get really brutal. I got my ass kicked and my brain was racked for solutions and scrambling resources and workforces. I'm juggling resources, manufacturing some and sending them to a smaller outpost city. I'm establishing extra trade routes so explorers can go out and find more stuff to bring to one of my smaller sub-cities. All the while, all the normal things I have to deal with are going down. Districts are breaking down, people are getting pissed, people are getting colder, people are hungry. It is so much, but it's really impressive how well the game kind of shepherds you into dealing with all this stuff. The overworld map is really slick and good at a glance, and what is really awesome is that you can pretty much instantly swap back and forth between these cities, so that helps. From a technical standpoint, that's really impressive because these games are powerhouses running all the math behind the scenes while also showcasing tons of detail in these gorgeous looking cities. I will say, even on my beefy PC, it's a pretty demanding game. I had a few frame rate issues here and there, but nothing catastrophic or broken, but just be aware. So Frostpunk 2 is a fresh new experience. Like the original, it's brutal, it's cold, it's challenging, and it gives you a lot to think about with each choice. That's about where the comparisons end. This is a much more vast building slash surviving experience slash civilization hybrid that is really ambitious. And I think it nails it. I think it has a lot of replay value to it with the different land variations and modes and the depths of the politics system. I can't wait to keep playing. So as a fan, I'd mark that as mission accomplished. But of course, this is a before you buy. You know how this goes by now. I give you some pros, some cons, and some personal opinion. And now I want to hear yours down in the comments. Do you have experience with the original game? Did you play it on PC? Did you play it when it eventually came to consoles? Did you like it? Did you find it too tough? What do you think? What are your hopes and dreams for the sequel? Were you like me? Were you not expecting it to be this different? Let's talk anything Frostpunk 2 down in the comments. I would love to hear from you. I just really, really like this series. I hope it continues to thrive. We'll be down in the comments, but of course, if you got anything else for me, be sure to hit me up at Jake Baldino on YouTube and social media. But thank you guys very much for watching. Hopefully this helped you out. If you like the gameplay and seeing everything and getting this info, clicking the like button helps us. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Attention citizens, a new law is in effect.